watching this video tutorial. Today we are going to discuss the most commonly used data types in MySql. So this is actually a summary. Okay, so basically the main categories for the data types are numeric types for storing numbers, data types for storing, not data types, but date types for storing dates, string types for storing strings or aka characters, and then binary types for storing files like text files or maybe a post from a blog site or pictures or whatnot. So that's the type of content you'll be using with the binary types and plus other data types. An example, JSON, enum, and set. But since these data types are not commonly used, I'm gonna skip it. Okay, so if we're planning to like just build a, I would call a normal website like a blog site, or you know, not so heavy on the database, or maybe heavy but not, it doesn't contain any fancy stuff, so you're good with this one. Okay, and then this is an introductory video, by the way. So under numeric types you have the so-called bit value type. It's a bit, basically stores 1 and 0, but the reason I include this one is so that you'll not be confused that it is part of the numeric types. But it's actually fun to play with, as you'll get to see on the next video. You'll know what an ASCII is, and you know how to convert it to a character, what's the value or the ASCII value of this character. So it's fun, and you get to watch the ASCII tables, but like I said, it's not really commonly used. Okay. Next is the integer types. We got Boolean, bool, TINYINT. So don't be confused. These are just all one and the same. And when you create a table, if you use bool or boolean, it will just revert it to TINYINT. Okay, when you do a description on your table, you'll notice that it will give you the TINYINT. So again, under the integer types, we got TINYINT, SMALLINT, MEDIUMINT, int, which is common, and the BIGINT. So it's arranged in ascending order. So this is the smallest and this is the biggest. For most typical application, int would suffice. It's already huge. Alright, but we'll get into that in a more detail. Next is the fixed point type. So fixed point type is talking about the decimal point of the thing. So it's used for financial application because of the exact and correct value. So as you can see, there's like a slash here, decimal, numeric, fix, and dec or DEC. This means it's the same as the right here. So when you use numeric, fix, or DEC when you create a table, and when you do a describe on your table, remember describe, it will show you that it's decimal. So it's just one and the same thing basically. Then next is the floating point types. We got float and double. So this one is the same, but it will actually use double when you do a describe your table. So this is used basically in scientific applications because of the approximate value. We're gonna go to this one in detail as well. And then the other types, let's see, date types. So we have basically the time, the date, and when you combine these two, so obviously it becomes like time, date, time. Well, this is a specific data type. Then the timestamp, usually you'll get a like a stamp on a paper, physical. That's why you stamp it. You can actually invoke the current default value. So what will happen there is it will get the system time from the server, your computer, and it's gonna put it to your column. All right, and then the year, pretty basic, it's just a year. So that's the date data types. So remember, it's just for storing dates, obviously. Then we go to the string types for storing strings. So this is arranged in ascending order. So this is the smallest data type for strings, and this is the ones for the bigger, can handle bigger data. So the character is very specific when it comes to memory usage, while this one, VARCHAR, it actually stands for variable characters. So for example, if you declare like 10 characters but you save only 5 of them, it will not actually use the whole 10 spaces in the memory. It will just use 5. It will actually save you, like 5 bytes, something like that. But character, or CHAR as they call it, is very specific. Then the next to that one is the TINYTEXT. I believe a maximum of 255 characters. Then the next is text. Alright, so then medium text and long text, but we'll get to that one in a much deeper explanation with examples. And lastly is the binary types for storing files. So basically, like if you have a system, right? For example, you'll be creating a website for a school and has a students table that includes, for example, pictures or videos. You can actually use the binary types. So again, this is arranged in descending order, binary being the lowest, LONGBLOB being the highest. So binary actually functions just like the character here, but it stores underneath this is the binary thingy. Okay, and then var binary functions like varchar, so it's a variable binary. It will save you data, as I explained earlier about the var character. Then we go up then a notch, then it will accommodate bigger sizes. All right, but we'll go to this one, in a more deeper explanation. So all right, let's just try to skim through our references. So basically the gist that I've created is this. Let me show you that. So here we're just gonna skim through it so you have an idea, or you can do like a sort of advanced reading so you get to know the material. You'll have an idea what to study. All right, so that's it. And then for the actual official reference for the data type, here. So as you can see, if you actually read up on these things, it's kind of like daunting because as you can see, there's a lot to learn here. There's really a lot. Okay, there. But just learn bit by bit. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's like learning, so you cannot build your knowledge in a day. Okay, so alright, so at least you'll have a reference that's really helpful. Okay, again, as a summary, we'll just be studying this data types. Reason being, they're the most common data types that you will most likely use for like a common web application. So the reason why I actually first create the database tutorial, or specifically the MySql tutorial, this will be the sort of database that I chose to connect with my in the future videos, Flask SQL Alchemy. Hopefully I'll have enough time to continue, and the energy to do it. So that's the plan. We're gonna create a web app utilizing MySql. All right, so yeah, please go ahead, have a skim, or like have a look-see on this one here, so you can have a review. And then I'm gonna create another video for the continuation of this tutorial. Alright, that's the overview for now. And again, thank you so much for watching my channel, and hope you hit subscribe. And then, as always, you have a nice day.